Am I the antagonist for being mad my dad didn't get me a car for my birthday? I just turned 18, 2 weeks ago. I'm the youngest of 4 kids, and on their 18th birthdays, all of my siblings got given a car by our dad. The condition was that you had to maintain good grades, which they all did. I'm definitely the dumbest of the kids, haha, and I'm a fairly middle student. I do okay, but I'm not like my siblings who get good grades pretty easily. But I honestly try my best and have had a tutor, and I've never failed a class or even just scraped a pass. My birthday just came and went, and while my mom bought me some really lovely presents, my dad, they are separated, got me some perfume which was lovely, but there was no mention of the car. I didn't want to say anything in front of everyone, but my brother and sister who were there gave each other the whole smirky side-eye thing when they saw I didn't get the box with keys and that they got. I pretended like I didn't see. The next day I was pretty upset, so I asked my dad why I hadn't got the car like my siblings had. He said my grades were okay, but not at their level. I got upset and said that he knew I'd really tried and I'd gone to every session with my tutor and done my best. He said, "Then it looks like your best isn't good enough," and I shouted at him that I was sick of being the least favorite child. He called me an entitled B/TCH, but I feel like I'm held to a different standard because I'm not so smart. Am I the antagonist? Edit. Sorry, I messed up a typo. NTA. You mentioned in replies that you are neurodivergent, and as much as some people wish it weren't true, that really can impact things. And even if that weren't a factor, some people just can't retain or absorb information the same way others can. Every person is different in their minds, and their bodies react to the same stimuli differently. Some might think expecting a car makes you the AH, but the fact is that your father set the standard not once, not twice, but thrice before. What truly sets this into the territory in which your father is a clear asshole, though, is his heartless remarks of your best isn't good enough. For a parent to say that is just disgusting, and it's awfully hecking rich for your father to call you entitled. He's the one exhibiting those traits. As someone else mentioned, it might be time to go either NC or LC because your father clearly does not have your best interests in mind. This isn't a matter of him pushing you to do better as some others imply. This is just his own entitled expectations. NTA, it actually doesn't matter if you were given a car or not. It sounds like that's not where the hurt is coming from. Your dad could have given all 3 of your siblings a rock for their birthday and excluded you, and you'd still be upset. I don't think you're being entitled. Students all enter school with different challenges, but school is designed for only a few brains. It's unfair to quantify academic success. NTA, do you have an unknown learning disability? I never did as well in school as my older sisters. No matter how hard I tried. Come to find in college I'm dyslexic. You are trying. It's sad that he rewards as, which are effortless for some kids to get, rather than hard work. When your siblings have to live in the real world, they'll quickly learn that hard work is far more valuable. I guess you need to apologize to him by saying, "Dad, I wanted to apologize because I realized I shouldn't hold you to the same level as good fathers. I know you tried, but you're just not." Are there tutors for that? Am I the antagonist for canceling my Netflix subscription? Throwaway just in case this gets recognized. So I, 27 female, pay for a Netflix account, as well as some other streaming things like Disney, and my family shares it. However, due to the fact that Netflix is starting to crack down on account sharing, and the fact I don't really use it anymore compared to other streaming services, I decided to just cancel it at the end of the month. When I told my family, they freaked out because they use it all the time, and they have shows that they can't watch anywhere else. I told them that they could pay for it themselves then, but I'm not going to break the Netflix TOS for their connivance. They got mad and said, "We are family, and family helps each other out." I asked them what they do to help me then, since I just let them freeload. They got even madder, and said if I go through with this, they might not ever forgive me. I just called them crazy and told them they weren't allowed to use any of my other streaming platforms anymore either, whether or not they allow account sharing. They freaked out even more, but then I just hung up. Now everyone is mad at me for some reason, and I'm beginning to think I might have done something wrong. Did I? What? No of course not. NTA is your subscription, your money, and you are free to stop it whenever you want. Or not stop it and just change the password. They should be thankful you let them use it all this time. They got even madder and said if I go through with this, they might not ever forgive me. If this happened as you say, not the a-hole. NTA, if you don't even watch it, then why should you pay? Let them create a new account and maybe they can share the cost. Either way, it's not your problem. They're being childish and selfish. It's your money going towards the account, therefore you can do as you wish with the account. If they want to watch something, they're going to have to pay themselves. Am I the antagonist for excluding my mom from my college move-in day? I, 18 female, graduated HS a year early and decided instead of taking a break, I wanted to immediately start college. So I did a semester at a community college last year just to get ahead, and now I'm actually moved onto a campus to finish my degree. I lived with my mom, 42 female, and her husband Ryan, 48 male, halfway through high school because my siblings Amy, 10 female, and Liam, 7 male, wanted me around, and I wanted to see them too before I started doing adult stuff and got too busy to come around as often. As much as I loved being near my brother and sister, I hated living in the same house as Ryan because he and his family weren't shy about the fact that they don't really like me. When he and my mom first got together, it was like I was being purposely excluded from everything he and his family would invite us to. On holidays, I'd have a seat at the table, but no one would really talk to me. I'd be asked to take pictures instead of be in them, and any time I tried to make an effort to be included, I was always told that it was just for the family, not me. It got worse when they had my siblings, BC. Then I would have to sit on the sidelines and watch as my brother and sister were enthusiastically accepted and wanted by Ryan's family, all while they made it blatantly obvious that they didn't want anything to do with me. There were times when Ryan would schedule family outings but find a way to leave me at home, or he'd just straight up say I wasn't invited. The real last straw was when Ryan's sister got my mom a Mother's Day gift a few years ago. It was a locket with a picture of my brother and sister in it, and she said it was so my mom could always have her 2 children close to her heart. My mom didn't say anything about me, she didn't even glance my direction. So I stopped trying and just accepted that I'd never be a real part of her new family because I just wasn't wanted there. I'd been slowly packing my things up for the past year, either taking them to my dad's house or getting them ready to go to my dorm. So on Saturday when move-in day started, I put all of the stuff I planned on taking into my car and drove to campus myself. My dad met me there and we decorated my room together. My mom thought that I was just spending the weekend with my dad, so when I ended up telling her that I wasn't going to be coming back during the week BC I'd moved in already, she got really upset. She said it was hurtful that I would exclude her from this huge moment in my life, and that as my mom it's her job to be there for this journey and be there for me. I told her that she'd been letting her husband exclude me from her life since the day they started dating, and because that never seemed to bother her, I didn't think it would be a big deal for me to do it too. I felt justified in this at first, but I could tell I really hurt her feelings, and now I'm starting to think I'm maybe an AH. NTA, so you mom thinks as my mom it's her job to be there for this journey and be there for me. Pity she didn't get the memo years ago about being there for her child. NTA. It's also a mom's job to be there for all parts of your life, not just the big moments. She doesn't get to pick and choose when you get to be her daughter. Keep strong, OP. NTA. Good for you for standing up to your mom. Move-in day should be about you, and you had every right to be surrounded with those who support you. Best of luck this semester. You know what, kiddo, some people need to get their feelings hurt. Your mother chose her side long ago, and it's a shame. I'm glad you have your dad in your life and glad you shared your move-in day with him. Am I the antagonist for making parental decisions for a child that isn't mine? My husband's little brother is 16 and has basically become like our honorary son. He was only 11 when he and I, 27 male, first met, and he immediately attached himself to me. We bonded over a similar love for video games and our shared disdain for the Marvel movies while still getting roped into watching them all. He's the baby of the family by a long shot and was a later-in-life surprise for my in-laws. For reference, my husband is 28, so there's a 12 years age difference between the two. Once my husband and I moved in together, little brother started wanting to stay over constantly. We limited this some at first, but now that he's gotten older and more mature, we allow him to come and go pretty much as he pleases. This summer he stayed at our home a good portion of the time to the point where his parents started complaining that they never see him anymore, so we started having to make rules that he had to be home at least 2 days out of the week. To clarify, there's nothing bad going on at home that's making him come to our house, he just says we're more fun. This trend has continued now that school has started up. He's driving this year, so he's got more freedom. He'll stop by his own home after school to grab some clothes and say hi to his parents, then he'll come spend the night at our place. However, school starting is what led to the central conflict of this post. I work from home while my husband doesn't, so it's just me in the house and everyone's usually already left when I start my day. Friday, I noticed little brother's car still in the driveway when I woke up, so I assumed he either slept through his alarm or he's sick. I go into his room to ask him what's up, and he said he just didn't feel like going that day. I replied something along the lines of, "Fair enough, dude. You want to go grab a bite and do some window shopping during lunchtime," and moved on. We all need days off. Well, mother-in-law got a call from the school about his absence and calls my husband, who then directs her to call me since he doesn't know what's going on. I told her he needed a mental health day, and she kind of went off on a rant about how all of this needs to be ran by her and that I had no right to sign off on something like this because I agreed to write him a note so that his absence would be excused. She and I haven't spoken since, but little brother keeps begging my husband and I to let him come over, but his mom is saying no. I don't want this to damage the mother-in-law/son-in-law relationship I have with my husband's mother, but I just don't think I can apologize over this when she's holding her kid hostage from visiting us. Am I the antagonist? ETA, clarified my age and gender. I'm a guy, friendly Redditors. YTA, little brother has learned that your house is his chill pad. He doesn't have rules there, and he's pushing to see how far he can take that. He's not your honorary son, and he shouldn't be. This story makes that abundantly clear. Gently, you're the a-hole. He probably did need someone to just let him have a mental health day, but you aren't his mom at the end of the day, and you don't have the authority to make that decision. You're not the parent. Schools have attendance policies. It wasn't your decision to make. You did not even consult his parents on the matter. You let your brother-in-law blow off school. Your mother-in-law doesn't want him staying with you because overstepped by a mile. In this instance, you're the a-hole. You and your husband went wrong when you started letting his brother be a permanent part of your household. As you said, there are no troubles at home. He just wants to be away from his parents with the no-rules situation you're giving him. Sounds like you especially like being the fun aunt/uncle or whatever. Your in-laws have finally stepped up to put a stop to this, not sure why it took so long, honestly. Am I the antagonist for telling him he isn't my nephew? My brother, 41 male, became a foster father to a young boy 10 years ago. The child's father had passed away and his mother was in a rehab center. The assignment was supposed to be temporary. The foster worker said the young boy would probably be there 6 months to a year. He ended up staying with my brother for 6 years. And this time, my brother did a ton for this kid, well above and beyond requirements. He made sure the kid always had nice new clothes, fun toys, got to eat what he wanted, took him on vacations, paid for expensive activities, everything. By the time 6 years had passed, we all thought this child was a permanent addition to our family. Then, shortly after his 14th birthday, his mother was able to resume custody. And just like that, he was gone, with almost no notice. I can't explain how devastated my brother was. He was beyond distraught. He thought of this kid like a son, and then legally they weren't anything to each other. He's 18 now and just started community college. My brother has a different foster child staying with him now. Even though life has gone on, I know my brother is still in pain. Recently, I ran into this now adult at the grocery store with his mom. He acted very happy to see me and introduced me to his mother at Auntie, my name. I said, "I'm not your aunt." He looked a little hurt and then tried to continue the conversation. We talked awkwardly for a couple of minutes and then I finished my shopping. I told my brother about the awkward interaction later and he said I was AB for no reason and should have just accepted the title gracefully as it cost me nothing. I disagree. I let this kid be my nephew for 6 years and then I didn't see him again until now. Why should I have to let him call me his aunt when he hasn't been a member of our family for 4 years? My brother called me egotistical, but then he dropped it. I don't understand why I'm the bad guy. Am I the antagonist? YTA sorry what? How can you not understand how you're the bad guy? This kid didn't get a choice where he went. He was 8 years old when he went into your brother's care and 14 when he went back to his mom, but it's somehow his fault that your brother was hurt by that loss. Why are you holding resentment towards this kid for something that isn't his fault? Are you going to be an asshole to every kid that leaves your brother's care? Do you understand what being a foster carer is actually about? It's not an adoption. Sometimes it can lead to adoption, but that isn't always going to be the case. If you don't want to be referred to as auntie, there are certainly less asshole-ish ways to go about it, but you were rude and hurtful to this boy for no good reason, and I'm sure you've ruined whatever happy memory he has of you when he was younger, so if that was your goal, congrats on that, I guess. Edit. I read your comments and you are majorly the AH here. You had the opportunity to continue a relationship with him and chose not to. He was 14 when his mom gained custody of him, and instead of being there for him as an auntie, a role you willingly took on when he was in your brother's custody, you decided to turn your back on him because he wasn't legally related. Your brother maintained a relationship with him, so what exactly do you have to be mad about, really? You're saying you're resentful on your brother's behalf despite the fact that he doesn't feel that way and is actively telling you that you're in the wrong. So what is the problem exactly? You don't like his mother and that's somehow his fault? YTA. You're punishing a child for not keeping in contact during a major upheaval in his life. In adult-child relationships, it's generally the adult's responsibility to maintain contact, not the kid's. Who knows if he even had the means to? YTA. This was just not necessary and it was hurtful. You sound resentful, OP. Do you think you are? The main goal of foster care is reconciliation with the birth family. If the parental rights hadn't been terminated after 2 years, there was always going to be a chance that your nephew would go back to his mom. He was 14, he had no choice in the matter. Did you or your brother make an effort to stay in contact? Your brother did a generous thing, but it comes with the territory in foster care. You sound like the kind of person that would be cruel to a step-kid after a divorce. Am I the antagonist for telling my ex's family I'm pregnant? My ex and I broke up after I found out I was pregnant because he doesn't want the baby. Our families are very close and the breakup came out of nowhere in their eyes, so his family keep asking me what happened. Once I start showing, it's going to be pretty obvious what happened anyway, so I decided to tell them. I never told him I was going to tell them because I knew he didn't want them to know yet, so he would have tried to stop me. They were shocked and upset because family means a lot to my ex, so they couldn't believe he would willingly abandon his own child. His parents told me they would talk some sense into him, but I told them it would be useless. I currently live in the home I was sharing with my ex. While he owns the property, we agreed I would keep living here for now and he would stay in his apartment. Yesterday he showed up furious after he spoke to his parents and found out I had told his entire family about the pregnancy. He told me I had no right to go behind his back and tell his family about the baby. I told him I could tell whoever I wanted, which made him angrier. I ended up telling him if he didn't leave, I would call my brother and his dad because he was scarily angry. Am I the antagonist? NTA, and you need to keep letting your family and his family know about his abusive anger. You should think about finding a safer place to live. A place where you can lock a door against him and where he doesn't have the power to evict you. Don't rely on him for anything. Especially make sure his family knows he lashed out at you for sharing the news of your pregnancy with them. Tell them you want to feel safe when you speak to them about their future grandchild. NTA. He left you, leaving the responsibility of taking care of a future baby all by yourself. Since his family sounds close to yours, there is nothing wrong with telling them, especially since the future kid will be related to them. He's in the wrong. And protect yourself from him. NTA. What did he think you were going to do? Keep it quiet forever? They asked about the breakup and you told them why. I suppose you could have said to ask their son, but I actually think it was good you told them first because who knows how he might have tried to spin the story?